Let's see here. So last time I worked on these, let's see if I should. So we're going to work on these. Clear off my desk a little bit, which, yeah, I probably should have done beforehand, but, you know, it is what it is. All right. Please, please don't let it take me. Well, so I had this, right? Friend gave it to me and it rolled off my desk and broke, and I fixed it like a year ago with super glue, right? There's no extra glue like on the edge, so it still draws like a straight line. Like, I fucking bought this from Dick Blick and I want my money back because there are so many like imperfections. There's a bump right here on the edge. There's a bunch of like little, I don't know if they're like nicks or what, but there's a bunch of imperfections on this that make it not completely straight, which is the point of that. So you can roll and you can, draft the same line. It's just, I don't know when this one was from, but it literally fell and broke. And yeah, the glue job looks gross, but you can barely feel the crack on the bottom side. And again, no issue right here. The line draws clean. Like, it's like, it's like quality doesn't matter anymore. And that thing was, the new one was like $16 or something. So this is also not the greatest masking tape in the world, but all right. So I'm going to be laying out the panels for the full end page on this. Might only get a little bit of it done today because I've been trying not to need to sit here for hours on end. Yeah, see, that had a spot on it because I bumped my thumb on it, but that's okay. Because once it gets inked over, it'll just be a solid line, yeah. So you got Tucson Comic Con coming up in like a week and a half. I will be going on Saturday and Sunday. I'm pretty excited. This is the first show that I'm going to as just an attendee in quite a long time. I can't remember the last one that I went to as an attendee, you know. I wish I had, like, I know I have a triangle, but like it got broken, so I stopped using it, but I really probably should use it. And now that I want to use it and I know I could, I don't know where it is. So, you know, give me just a second. It might be in this drawer over here. Where are you? Let's watch your French curves. Oh my God. I know it's somewhere. Is it in here? This is obnoxious. Well, guys, this is a good lesson to organize your art supplies and know exactly where they are, right? We had this little wheelie cart that I thought was going to be great. Now it's just packed full of shit. All right. Well. I really want like a basket that can like hook and clamp onto the side of my table. So I can just have some supplies at the ready and not have to have like all these like trays and not sponsored by Mug Root Beer. Again. Oh, that's right. If anyone has any questions, like feel free to ask or I have not. Is it good? I haven't had a root beer float in, dude, it's been a long ass time. See, this is where that triangle would come in like super duper handy. God, I hate that this keeps getting caught. So I got to do the establishing shot on panel 1. I've got to do the close-up of Veneta. And I mean, you don't have to do an establishing shot. You don't. I mean, honestly, you could just jump directly into whatever the scene is. However, there are certain storytelling, you can call them tropes, you can call them rules. But if you're going to be a good storyteller, you need to understand that your audience needs to know what the hell is going on. And if they don't, maybe they'll stick with your story, maybe they won't. And this is something that, you know, there's certain rules that you just need to at least understand. You don't need to follow them, but you do need to understand them. Hold on a second. I need to get a slightly more organized setup than I've got. One of these days, maybe I'll get a camera or something like that to shoot from different angles, but it's not a super huge priority for me right now. You know, gained some new subscribers. There was a stream I think I did on, was it Saturday? It was either Sunday or it was Thursday or Friday. And I got like 5 subs in one stream, which is insane for me, right? But so if you're like that, okay. I don't know why I have the mic down. You know, I've started to appreciate root beer, and it's kind of funny because like my nana's favorite, I don't know if it was her favorite drink, but her favorite type of soda was root beer. I forget if it was a specific brand, but I'll have to ask my dad about that. But I've started to appreciate root beer a lot because you can have something, you know, nice to drink that's not water after like 5 or 6, so it doesn't have caffeine in it, right? And this is the no sugar stuff, so it's also not contributing to like a lot of fluctuating weight and, you know, shit like that. The other thing is like getting to decide what kind of costumes these characters are wearing, outfits these characters are wearing. but I was able to get that spawn done. I need to color them. And then I have to, I got a cover that I drew not a really long time ago, but a while back. And I just really like the way it ended up turning out, because I kind of effed it up when I was working on it. Like I was trying to do like a slide tone on like the arm. So instead of doing like the entire flesh tone and then putting shading, I was going to use like the flesh tone and then just do like the line of shading down it to give the element of color. I saw our germ doing it on a video during DC Fandom, which happened fucking 6 years ago, yo, like crazy. But so decided to do that. And I used the color that was a little too dark. And so I was just like, crap, that's like whatever, like I can't undo that. So I went back in with the blender marker, and the blender marker wouldn't take all the color out. Like I just kept going back over it. I let it sit, went back over it. So I used some white paint markers and kind of undid it. You could notice that there was white paint markers on it, but then I threw some more color over it, and it actually like turned out okay. It is like a cheesecake pinup risque piece, so I can't show it on YouTube, but I almost gave up on that piece. Like it was almost like, great, you know, you have this great line style of this character and like a great pose and everything, and it's like super clean and like it's just done. Oh, but I brought up the establishing shot earlier for a very good reason. I have been working on the 100 Days of Horror challenge, watching 100 horror movies from, you know, the end of July to Halloween. And it's not just older movies. Like it is a lot of movies, just maybe they shot the establishing shots, maybe they shot the transitions, but they edited them out so the story is not coherent, right? There's spots that are just like, wait, where did that character go? And then they show up again later and you're like, okay, that's really weird. I don't understand that. So it's really important as a storyteller to have a firm grasp on continuity. And part of that is establishing who your characters are and establishing where they are. And I'll be honest, man, there are a lot of really good filmmakers that nobody knows about, you know, because they don't get, you know, big budget productions. There's other bigger filmmakers where it's just like, okay, the shots are great, but the storytelling is crap. That's kind of why I'm not super duper excited about a lot of like the upcoming, you know, next wave of like Marvel and DC and stuff like that. Like some of the movies I'm okay with, but because it's a lot of it's not great storytelling. There were some really solid movies in like the early phases of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but that may also be because we hadn't seen these characters and you were trying to introduce them and introduce them in the with the least amount of time on screen. So you had to do a lot of complex storytelling. Um, some people might disagree with me, but I think Black Panther's um, characterization in Civil War, he went from being, the dutiful son to being vengeful and wanting justice to understanding what justice was, which is a huge arc that could have, and by all means should have, taken a couple of movies for that character, not even just for, um, the character, that he wasn't the spotlight. That was the first time he showed up, of course, but um, I think it was an interesting take. I also feel like over the course of the end of Endgame, you had Thor with this really great story arc. What? Um, the um, like Thor had a really good arc. I thought. A lot of people thought Tony Stark had a really great arc, and um, I don't feel like Tony Stark and Iron Man's arc was really that great. I think he was kind of just, you had to try to make him the hero, and he's not really the hero, right? So you shoehorned in a lot of this stuff, and you tried to make it a lot more complex than it was, and it wasn't really nuanced. It was like very forcibly jammed down our throats because, well, we don't have the rights to Spider-Man, so we've got to make sure that Iron Man is the hero that we really want, you know. And there are a couple of newer Marvel projects that I've enjoyed. Not a lot. Maybe I'll show off some of the books that I want to get signed at Tucson Comic Con and Sabaton and stuff like that. Like what my plans are for those. What you doing, buddy? You need to go outside? All right, hold on a second. You're gonna take the dog outside, and I'm gonna pause this song because I really, really like it. All right, buddy, come on. Oh. Here's your taco. Good boy. Oh, whoop. Getting right under my feet, dude. You can't do that. I'm going to trip and fall over. And then I'm going to get hurt, and you're going to get hurt, and nobody wants that. All right. Had to give Grayson his second taco for Mini Taco Tuesday. You get those like little we're like doggy to go little foil bags you rip open, they zip closed. And I think my mom got them first, and she was just like, these are just so funny. And so like for Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, Grayson gets tacos. I'm not sure if like, because I have like the months and days of like in the story that are coinciding with things, but I don't remember if I didn't put anything down for like what year it is, right? Because I really kind of wanted this to resonate with being more of a not a timeless type story. I think those are, people try for those way too hard, but I kind of wanted it to have like a 90s feel to the story itself. And honestly, because this majoritively takes place, or not majoritively, it does take place in a small town. Sometimes small towns are like behind on the trends for like clothing and stuff like that. Um, so I mean, it is possible that this is like, a modern story. Um, it's also very possible that this takes place in the 90s, which is when I had my like horror renaissance. Like I got into horror and like became a lifelong fan. Um, then just like adding like small um, little details. I think that's kind of the fun thing about like drawing like normal everyday people for your book is, they don't have uniforms, right? Like the X-Men have uniforms, but like when they're not on duty, um, you can you can check out what's going on, you know, and you can give them more of a personality. And I think that's like super important. So you did the close up, so then you got to do the establishing shot. So you just pull back on everything, right? Like how that's getting warped because my arm has been sitting on it. Actually, I don't like that. We'll start that way. There we go. One of my friends was telling me about how she plans to do like crowd scenes because her book takes place at a school, and and so there's going to be a lot, lots of people. Um, but one of her artist influences is Sean Gordon Murphy. And she likes the way he kind of roughs out um, like crowd scenes and like big throngs of people, and like focuses the detail on the characters that matter. Um, and so that's going to be kind of her way of doing it. Um, I haven't gotten into a crowd scene with this project yet. It's usually been a handful of people on a page or a panel at a time. So I haven't had to deal with that until this scene where they have the assembly and you have, um, I don't know, in my rough, like I drew, like a dozen or so students that you're going to see. So I've got to figure out how I'm going to handle that. So I'll probably just block everything out into like shapes and like sections, and then just go in and like fill that out specifically. Um, this is actually pretty good. You just get music recommended to you based on like what you're already listening to, and it's pretty good. Okay, like one of the, did you get a plastic one? Oh, another moderator just handled this? I ain't got no other moderator. Um, 15. Is it like the, is it like these ones? Like the one that, like the folder? Okay, cool. Cool, cool. Yeah, those are great uh for traveling with. Um They do break down after a while, so you just got to be careful with them. But they'll usually last you like the BCW ones are better. I would recommend those over like some of the other ones that are like they're not coated. So they have like a paper outing, so they can get like beat up and nicked up and stuff like that. Okay. Yeah, the first one I got was it was like a mystery box that I bought in I don't even remember when it was. It might have been like 2017 and I don't remember how much I spent on it, but I mainly just wanted that box. And I still have the box, but um I mean none of the books in it were really all that worthwhile. So and those things are like probably now they're like about like $15 or something like that. I don't remember how much they are. It's been a while since I bought one, and um, that one was actually one that was given to me by one of my friends. She like brought over something that she borrowed from me, and she put it in there to protect it. Um, and she was just like, "You can have that if you want." Like, I don't really take books anywhere, so. But yeah, that's probably what I'll put most of my books in for Tucson, and then I'll probably keep like a spare one with me that's just empty, so I can put any like nice books that I get into it, so they stay protected. But not really like taking a whole lot. Like actually, like let me go grab the books that I'm going to take with me. I'll show you guys. All right. So for Tucson Con, I am taking, and this will go get out of the top loader and go into one of those books. Stephen Grant's going to be there, so I'm going to take this Punisher #3 that I had already have signed by Mike Zeck and John Beatty. So that'll be like the complete creative team will be signed on that. And some people probably be like, well, why didn't you get issue #1 signed? Well, like, I love this cover. This is a great cover. That's why I got this one signed. And then I have the hardcover of that mini series. I got it used, and so I have another copy of it that is brand new and still shrink wrapped. So I'm going to switch out the dust cover on it. But at the same event in 2019, I got Zach and Beatty to sign this. So the other one I had considered selling at some points, but I never did. But this is going to be perfect because then I can just open it, take the dust cover off that one, and switch it out. And so then it'll be like super clean and it won't have all these like little flaws and stuff on it. And then, so I got this signed at Phoenix. This is the Mark Teixeira variant for Ash #6. If you know anything about me, I've talked about how Ash was a really, really poignant character for me, long forgotten at this point. But Ash was a guy who was a firefighter who got really badly burned in a high-rise fire, and he crawled into this sarcophagus kind of thing, but it was alien tech, and it bonded with him and turned him into a superhero that could like control fire and stuff. At the time that I found this character, my uncle was a volunteer fireman here in the like just south of Tucson, and so like he's always been one of role models. One of like, I love my uncle very, very much. And so that made like having a firefighter hero really, really cool. Um, and so I'm going to have this signed by Mark Teixeira because he's going to be there as well. I know I've got some other Mark Teixeira stuff too, but like that seems like the most appropriate. And then, so I got this Jay Gonzo Murder, Death, Kill variant that's already signed by the writer and artist, Mike Macropolis and Jim Hanna. And then so Jay Gonzo is going to be at Tucson, so I'll have him sign his variant cover. And then, so these I'll probably get at least one of them signed, if not both of them. Depends on what his signature costs are. I'd love to get a remark from him. His remarks are amazing, but they're also really expensive. And I'm trying to be better with my money. But I have, I think this is like 26 Sick Tick John Boy Myers variant. And then this is Nightwing 50 B cover done by John Boy Myers. I would love to get like, and this is perfect. Like you've got spots here and here and even up here for like a nice remark. Nightwing was my favorite character. It is now Erica Slaughter. This cover is perfect for like a remark right here. I will check and see, what he has in terms of pricing. I don't anticipate getting any artwork at this show just because, remarks and stuff tend to be pretty expensive. So those will get, at least one of them will get signed. And if I can only get one of them signed, it's going to be the Sick Tick. And then there's an actress, singer who did some voice acting who's going to be at Tucson Con as well. That's E.G. Daly. She played Dottie in probably her biggest role, Dottie in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And she also voiced in the unreleased Gen 13 movie, Free Fall, who was my favorite Gen 13 character. So I found my favorite, and I kind of buy this whenever I find it. I don't know why. Like, you don't need 15 copies of the same book, unless you do. So I have this really, really nice looking copy of Gen 13, number 14 of Roxanne Spalding, aka Free Fall. Just getting ready, walking to school. I love this cover so much. It'll look sweet with like a sig like right here, or maybe along here or down here, just depending. I don't know what E.G. Daly's signatures look like. I also don't know how much she charges. So, that's gonna depend as well. This is a maybe on my pile. Like the Stephen Grant autographs are a must. The Mark Teixeira is pretty important just to complete that. The John Boy Myers, I don't think Gonzo will charge very much for an autograph, if anything at all. But like the bigger names will definitely charge. So I'm assuming like 10 to 20 bucks probably for Stephen Grant's autographs each. He may be there with like the Hero Initiative, and if he's there with the Hero Initiative, then she'll you can just make a donation based on like what you want to do, and that's probably what I'd throw down, like 10 or 20 bucks or something like that. And then for God, what is I keep floating on the name, Sabaton. Hopefully this won't get me in trouble because she's not actually naked, so we'll do this. Chainsaw Man Volume 6. This is the beginning of the Reze arc, which is the basis for the Chainsaw Man movie that came out last year. Love that movie. Love the series. Already have Volume 1 signed by Power and Denji and Aki. But Reze's voice actor will be there, as will Kishibe's. He's not on the cover of any of the mangas. He was in the Reze arc. I kind of thought it'd be weird to have him sign it because like he's in it, but he's not a super significant part of the Reze arc. So it'd just be weird. So I do have a couple of different Cybercell cards of Kishibe from the Chainsaw Man set. So that'd be a good option. And then the voice actress for Mai from Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai is going to be there. She also does the voice of Ryoko Matoi from Kill la Kill, which I also love that show. But I feel like Mai is the more complex and intricate character. She's a lot more nuanced. So I have the light novel, which is technically Mai's first appearance and all the characters in Rascal Does Not Dream. It's a pretty cute cover. I like the cover a lot. I got that from Antigone here in town. And then I got this at Barnes and Noble like the week prior. And this is the manga. So it's much thicker, of course, than the light novel. And the light novel is about the same width as your standard mangas. And so if you get these sent in to like grading companies, they can grade these, but this is going to be too big to get slabbed. I don't know. I might still have her sign it. I'll probably have her sign this so I can get it encapsulated, because I'd like to send all my Chainsaw Man stuff in and like my anime stuff in to get signed, because in my second room, when I kind of turn it into like a gaming relaxation room, like I'm gonna end up doing like my Chainsaw Man and like just a bunch of animation stuff back there. So there'll be like Chainsaw Man, there'll be my BTAS display. I don't know if I want to move my Akira display. It's not as big as like I thought it was, but then, I'd be able to I have a big scroll, like it's more like a tapestry, like it's the size of a door. And, I could put my Akira stuff over there and then have like this wall to do something else with, kind of thing. I loved this series. This series was amazing. Great slice of life, and just very heartfelt. And there's a lot of like tearjerker moments in the anime. I don't mind saying, like, I welled up a few times watching it because it was so well done. The characters were really, really good, and they, you felt for them when you saw what they were going through and struggling with, and it was all about being like a teenager and an adolescent and stuff. So it was, it just popped up on my For You recommended page on Crunchyroll. And so I was just like, well, let me watch this. Like the thumbnail looks cute. But I ended up really, really liking it and watched all the movies and and watched all the like second season and stuff like that as well. The Sick Tick cover, what color? Um, that's got a ton of red on it. I don't think they make metallic red paint pens. I could see a nice red, like right down here. I don't know what his SIGs look like, but a nice red right there would be good. But again, I'll have to see what his remark costs look like, because that is a prime spot for a nice little like headshot remark. Um, Something really contrasting. I think signing on the blood would be weird unless it pops. So if you're signing on the blood like a white, or like a white across here would be really good, but a red down here or a white down here would be really good. But yeah, I'll find out like what he charges and then move forward from there. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I don't remember her in The Devil's Rejects. It's been so long since I saw that movie. Hey, Andrea, I saw that you sent me something, but obviously I can't look at it right now. I'll look at it in a little bit. Um, but I'm working on. So I drew the close up, but I'm working on the establishing shot right here. Oh, man. And trying not to just put Vanita in a hoodie. So I'm going to like refer back to like an outfit choice that I really liked to wear back in the day. And if it was cold, I would still wear it, but I have so many hoodies now. Like I love to wear like a thermal or a long sleeve shirt, like a long sleeve tee with like a short sleeve graphic top on top of it. So that I had like the layered look. I don't know what it was about that. Like I just really, really liked that look. Like it was kind of like skater-esque. And I think at that point I was like riding a skateboard, with some, and then baggy pants kind of thing. So that's what I decided to give her for that. Oh shit, that's right. She is Tommy Pickles. Dude, you telling me she played Candy in it? Like I said, it's been probably 10 or 12 years since I've seen that movie. I mean, I know Sid Haig, I know Mosley, I know Sherry Moon Zombie, unfortunately. But no, that is super funny because like watching like the Spider-Man animated series and like Mark Hamill does the Hobgoblin and you can just hear the Joker in it because it's such an like he's got such an iconic voice. And then there's like in Under the Red Hood, the Batman animated movie when John DiMaggio did Joker, like you could just hear Bender the entire time, which I mean made sense, except it was slightly less drunken sardonicness, and it was more just like, oh, I'm trying to be over the top insane. Um, that was a really good animated Batman movie. I got to see the premiere at San Diego Comic-Con in 2010 when it first came out. That's the last time I went to San Diego Comic-Con as well. See, like having her sign some Tommy Pickles merch would be kind of cool, except like the Rugrats were a thing like after I stopped, like when I was like probably in like my late teens or 20s. So it wasn't as significant to me as it is to like a lot of other people. Like I understand the significance of Rugrats, but it just, was kind of after my time. To another, I hate that like YouTube does its self moderation. Like, why do you even post the thing to show me? It does not help. Dustin, I don't remember that movie other than the end when they're playing Freebird and they're like driving towards all the cops. And that was the end of the series for me. I'm not a big Rob Zombie fan, anyways, but um, no, she's done like an array of like characters in her day. That's right. She is Buttercup from Powerpuff Girls. So if I mean, I'll let you know because like I'm definitely gonna check out her table, Andrea. But like, do you like if it's within reason, like an autograph? Like I'll text you or whatever. But um, I can always pick one up for you if it's something that you want because I'm sure she'll have like a Buttercup 8x10s. Um, yeah, yeah. Because like I'm since I'm going on if I go on Saturday and like I go into her table and I check, um, and I mean whether or not I get her autograph, like I can always just message you and then like go back on Sunday and get it, you know. Yeah, I mean I kind of liked Halloween and I like Devil's Rejects a lot more than I like House of a Thousand Corpses. I didn't care for 31. I didn't care for Three from Hell. Um, I hated the second Halloween movie. Like it was just oh my god, it was just trash. Like, dude, I know you love your wife, but like you don't need to put her in every movie that you do. Um, I don't know if maybe that was like a marriage like uh, prenup or something like that. Like if we ever get divorced, like you keep all your money, but like I get to be in all the movies that I want, kind of thing. I think her acting as Baby in the second, because I don't, again, I don't remember those movies very well. Like she was trash in Three from Hell. Um, I try to not remember 31 because it's just I kind of look at his movies as like vegan propaganda because it really seems like he pours on like the violence and the butchering as a way to like make a statement on eating animals. But I don't know if he's that kind of a vegan, right? Because there are those vegans that are just like really militant about it. And they're like, you're a shitty human being because you eat meat or cheese or honey or whatever, um, or eggs. You know, it's just like, all right, that's fine. Like, Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein, who doesn't eat meat and is a vegan, but definitely takes steroids, is an interesting example. Like I haven't seen any of his posts on Instagram in a really long time. I forget if I unfollowed him, but um, he would occasionally post those the graphic like animal slaughter videos and pictures where like it would be blurred out and it would say this is sensitive content and it may contain X. Do you want to see it? And so I'm just like, all right, you know, I know he's a vegan, but it's just interesting that you know people think you know a doing that is going to change my mind about something, and b like guilting people into things or grossing them out about things are like surefire ways to never get somebody to take your side on stuff. Like, um, I know that's extremely true, especially with addiction. Like when I got sober, like I'm glad I didn't have like a partner or family, like wife and kids kind of thing. Cause like usually try to get sober or whatever for somebody else and you don't do it for yourself. And it's just like you need to do it for yourself. You've got to do it for yourself. Like you are the most important person in your life, whether you realize that or not. And so any sort of like monumental changes like that have to be done for you first and for anybody else second. Otherwise, failure to remain sober, having relapses and stuff, people are always like, they have animus towards you, like if you fuck up, um, or they're just thinking like, oh, you did this for me. And if you can't stay sober or you decide you don't want to stay sober, um, then people take that like really really personally. And I don't drink anymore. I don't do drugs or anything like that. So um, I mean, I take psych meds. I don't count those as drugs. They are drugs, but they are drugs to make my mind not flip out all the time on things. So that's different than taking a voluntary drink of alcohol to not have to feel something, right? Like these medications actually do help me um, feel stuff. So, you know, but enough with the preaching. That's not really like my goal here. Um, it's also why I didn't answer a question earlier, um, although I wasn't sure of the context of it and I didn't want to ask. So, it's actually kind of neat when you like think about it, like because everybody knows Mark Hamill was Luke Skywalker, right? Like nobody doesn't know that. But realizing that a good majority of his career um, has been doing voice acting is actually pretty interesting. I am working on page 10. I'm working on this panel right here. It's the establishing shot for uh, the scene. I don't want to give away too much, right? Yeah, working on this a little bit longer than I like actually kind of intended, but that's okay. Trying to just get into the habit of, doing 30, 40, maybe an hour worth of drawing time on these projects and stuff a night. And if I do that during like a stream, like it helps with the the accountability and um, sticking with things and stuff like that. I drew these characters the same size and they are in different like planes. It's just a movie, kid. Yeah. Mark Hamilton. Dude, Harrison Ford is fucking old, yo. Like, it's so weird to see people that like you grew up watching, like less so with Mark Hamill because he did a lot of voice acting, but more so with like Harrison Ford because you saw him in like a ton of different movies and stuff like that. But like even like Arnold Schwarzenegger and seeing dude is 79 now. I mean, he looks good, but at the same time, it's just like it's weird to see these people that like you watched as a kid and even as an adult in movies and TV and stuff like that, and you're like, wow, they like when did they get old? And then you like look at things and you're like, wow, I'm old, you know? So at Mad Monster in like I think it was Expo in like the Carolinas, they had two of the suit actors for Godzilla movies. And there was a couple of people who got their autographs and got pictures with them and stuff like that. And they had like their like pops that they for the Godzilla that they were. And dude, they sign in kanji, which is just like so dope. I'm hoping that if I'm able to get some of the voice actors, some of the Japanese voice actors at Sabaton, that they'll probably sign in kanji. I would imagine, but we'll see. Because like I have the stuff that I like. This is my priority. Like Reze, Alexis Tipton, and I think it's Erica Mendez who does the voice of Mai. Mm. One of my buddies is going to be there as a art guest. There's going to be some VTubers. Yeah, Erica Mendez does the voice of Mai. She also does Ryuko Matoi and Retsuko from the Netflix animated anime. Um, so Alexis Tipton and Erica Mendez are my priorities. Um, Jason Douglas does the voice of Kishibe from Chainsaw Man, so he's kind of like my number three. And then Celeste Perez, she does the voice of is it Jun? Rin. She does Rin's voice in Laid Back Camp, which is just a fun, like, slice of life anime about camping. Like, and then there's Sora Tokui, and oh, did the other lady cancel? Because oh, Asami Imai, um, are the two like Japanese voice actresses who are going to be there. But there's also like a couple of like bands that are going to be there, like Isekai Stage. So I mean, you know, it's probably some like J-pop type stuff. Sabo is going to be Phoenix Convention Center. So yeah, so Richard and I'll jam up there Monday morning because it goes like the entirety of Labor Day weekend, which is kind of neat, I guess. I don't know. Um, that's where I got my autograph from uh, Joshua Seth or Josh Seth, who did the voice of Tetsuo in the 2001 remastering, redubbing of Akira, um, which is hilarious because like with like the 4K and the Blu-ray and stuff like that, you can choose between those like two dubbings. And like I've watched it in the original Japanese and I've watched it in English, and I prefer like I think it's the 89 voice acting. Um, but you know, it is what it is. Yeah, anybody who's involved with Akira, like I'm kind of okay with. Johnny Young Bosch did the voice of um, Kaneda in the 2001 redubbing, but I've heard he's kind of a dick. I have, you know, no experience with him. He's also a former Power Ranger, um, and I, you know, I'm not a Power Ranger guy, so nice. Just do some final lines on this. Oh, that's fine. All right, I think I got that page, those panels done. So I think that's it for drawing Welcome to Pleasant Falls for today. So this is page 10. Making some progress. Back to making some progress. Didn't do anything like all weekend long. Sunday I did a stream where I did the page layouts. So Oh, okay. Oh, Johnny Young Bosch. I've I've heard. I've never met him or anything like that, but I've heard a couple of people who were I guess they went up for autographs or something like that, or they were at another table getting autographs and there was some sort of weird interaction where like somebody thought they were hot shit or something dumb. Um, you know, but um, yeah, I don't know if I should start drawing anything else. Like I've been on for about an hour and almost an hour and a half. Um, let's see what I got here. Oh yeah, I could work on this. Okay. So long as I let me change the tape and then I'll flip this around. There, that should be good. All right, hold on. Okay. See, that's why I hate that. Okay. There you go. I mean, she's kind of covered. So, the stupid thing is when I did these, I never numbered them. What you want, buddy? You just went outside a little bit ago. Was watching a YouTube video earlier that was talking about like markets and conventions and stuff that were scams. Um, and I can definitely relate. Um, been to a few as a vendor that were just awful. Yeah, might just finish the outline on her and then call it a night. Kind of a wind down. See if there's lyrics for this. This is a good song. Oh, you can buy off of this? I didn't realize you could do that. Oh, that's cool. The app lets you look at lyrics. Not all the songs have lyrics on them, though. So, hey, Angel, actually just getting ready to call it a day, buddy. But yeah, did some more work on Pleasant Falls. Got about 2 panels done. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna call it there. I'll try to do another one of these later this week. Maybe tomorrow. It just depends on how I feel. But you guys take care, and I will talk to you guys soon.